Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and once again, welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we're heading to the rolling hills of Tuscany for the Mugello Grand Prix. This is going to be an absolutely fascinating event. We have one of the longest straights on the Grand Prix World Series calendar, so we should see plenty of overtaking, plenty of slipstreaming, and plenty of battles. So we're all set for a cracking day of action today. But before we get started with the League 2 action, let's have a look at the drivers' standings, and it is Alex Palou who leads the way on 83 points. Callum Ilott is up to second on 49, 4 ahead of Kimi Antonelli, who will go for his home Grand Prix today. He is on 45 points. Matt Campbell not racing anymore at the squad, having been replaced by Jack Doohan. We will touch on that in just a moment. He's on 38 points. Tomoki Najiri and Ryo Hirakawa also on 38 points each, ahead of Luke Browning on 32, Jake Dennis on 31, Ritomo Miata on 28, and Nick De Vries on 27. That is your top 10 heading into today's League 2 race. As far as the teams are concerned, it is Ram Racing who tops the points on 121, 87 for Carlin in second, ahead of Prema on 79, Andretti on 76, ahead of Coloni on 55, 40 Corsi on 49 points in sixth. We have 3 Italian teams in the top 6 heading into Mugello today. Dome also on 49 points in 7th, ahead of Zakspeed, Dams and Surtees rounding out the top 10 there. And then at the bottom of the field, Real, Tolman and LaRousse. LaRousse not yet picking up any points, and surely it must be coming sooner rather than later for Chris Hosey's team. Well, I touched on it while we were going through the driver standings just then. The first driver change to make note of today comes at the Ram Racing team, as Matt Campbell, who won in Dijon-Bourgogne, has been dropped in favour of Jack Doohan. A really surprising announcement there from Ross McGregor, but Jack Doohan will get his race debut today in the Grand Prix World Series. We'll see how he gets on later. A second driver change comes at the Scuderia Coloni team, as Alicia Palmowski will make her Grand Prix World Series debut today in place of Toby Sowry, who has been banned from today's race after causing retirement last time out in Dijon-Bourgogne. Well, with 2 debutantes today, let's see how they got on in qualifying and take you through the grid. And it is Nick Cassidy who takes yet another pole position this season. He puts the Dome onto pole over a quarter of a second ahead of Ryo Hirakawa in the Carlin. Ritomo Miata makes it 2 Domes in the top 3, with Tomoki Najiri 4th in the Prema. Louis Foster is 5th in the second Prema, ahead of Pato Ward, Callum Ilott, Danny Unkadea, Zach O'Sullivan and Jake Dennis rounding out the top 10 there. Robin Freins will be 11th in the Zakspeed alongside his teammate Stoffel Van Dorn. Nick De Vries 13th in the Andretti, ahead of our debutant Jack Doohan, who outqualifies Alex Palou, the championship leader, having a really disappointing qualifying today. Max Gunter will go 16th from the Real, ahead of the 2 Tolmans, Mike Gillespie's team, having their best collective qualifying effort of the season so far. Jess Hawkins and Luke Browning will be 19th and 20th, ahead of Alicia Palmowski for her debut today in 21st, Abby Pulling 22nd, followed by Matteo Caroli, Kimi Antonelli, Sam Bird and Sarah Moore rounding out the field. Well, time to get down to trackside. Can Nick Cassidy convert yet another pole position into what would finally be his first Grand Prix World Series victory? We won't keep you waiting to find out any longer. Let's head down to trackside and hand you over to Tom Cairns, who's ready and waiting in the commentary box.
Here we are in Mugello for round 7 of the championship. Nick Cassidy on pole, but can he convert it into victory this time and put the disappointment of Dijon-Bourgogne behind him? The 5 red lights are coming on now. When they go out, we'll be racing for the first time here in Mugello. Lights are on. Lights are off and the cars are away around this Italian circuit in Tuscany. Nick Cassidy ahead of Ryo Hirakawa as they come towards the first corner of San Donato. And Cassidy has got his nose in front as he is ahead of the Carlin. And with Tomoki Najiri in 3rd place, Pato Ward is making his way through in the Dams in 4th position ahead of the second Dome of Ritomo Miata. We've got Louis Foster in 6th place in the second Prema, with Jake Dennis, Danny Okindeo, Callum Ilott and Stoff Van Dorn running out the top 10 as we speak. Here's Callum Ilott running in 9th position. Another strong result at Dijon-Bourgogne, hoping to keep that going here in Mugello and continue Carlin's push for promotion. Further back, we've seen a move actually from what looks like Robin Freins going through on Nick De Vries, or might have been Zach O'Sullivan. Here they come through Arrabbiata 1 and 2. They seem to be enjoying this course at Mugello. First time hosting a Grand Prix World Series race. Last season it was at Misano hosting the Italian round. In Season 2 it was Imola that took the honours of hosting Grand Prix World Series' Italian races. But Nick Cassidy doing everything right so far. Ryo Hirakawa is in P2. Now it's Tomoki Najiri in the Prema. We will expect to see some overtaking in the near future. Here's Rito Miyata trying to get through on Pato Ward for 4th place. And behind Miyata is Louis Foster, who's shown some strong promise since substituting for Will Power at the Prema squad, managed by Alex Johnston. You can see a neat overtake there from Rito Miyata going through on Pato Ward before Santinato. And it looks like Louis Foster has found a gap on the inside, and he's made it through as well. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that throughout today. So Pato losing 2 places in a blink of an eye. No incidents so far in the race. Alex Palou, the championship leader, had a qualifying 2 for Get. He starts at 15th, he's only made it 1 position so far. And towards the back we're looking at Max Gunter, who showed a good performance in Dijon-Bourgogne in the Real. He's running in 18th position ahead of Abby Pullin, and behind Abby Pullin is the debutant Alicia Palmovsky, the GP4 race winner, substituting for the suspended Toby Sowry. And there's Cassidy in P1 still. But will it remain that way at the checkered flag? Dome have struggled with reliability all season long. They know they've got the pace, but they haven't been able to handle the reliability side of things just yet. The motion is slipping further and further away from them unless they can get their act together. Put together a run of form between now and the end of the season at Surface Paradise. See Jake Dennis going for a move on Pato Ward, although Ward is into the slipstream of Louis Foster. He's not able to get through this time around, but he may be able to go to the inside of the Prema, but tucks back in again. Kalamai going through on Denny Yonkandea by the looks of things, but Yonkandea is able to resist and remain ahead for now. Cassidy, Hirakawa separated by less than 7/10 of a second. And coming through Casanova Savelli. And it's the 2 Arrabbiatas of 1 and 2. Cassidy going into the round with 19 points on the board. Got the pole position and fastest lap, I believe, in the last race. So he should have 20 points to his name, not 19. By the way, he's not having the best time of it. We're looking at Saka O'Sullivan in the 40, in P11. Saka O'Sullivan racing in Formula 2 this season. He's won a couple of times. The feature race in Monaco. And the shortened sprint race at Spa in July. Cassidy has posted another new fast stop of the race at 1:26.5. Bear in mind, some drivers will be on the 2 stops for this race, others will be on the 1. And we can see Louis Foster through on Rito Miyata for 4th place. 2 Premas in the top 4 now, and their form really is showing no sign of stopping at the moment. There's Cassidy, there is Hirakawa. Hirakawa's yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series. Came close to doing so at Indianapolis and in Zolder. And there is Cassidy, who was leading by 28 seconds until a front suspension failure had put him on the sidelines with only 3 corners of the race remaining, and victory went to the departed Matt Campbell, who's replaced for this round by Jack Doohan, who recently had been announced as an Alpine Formula 1 driver for 2025. Now, Jack Doohan, as far as I'm aware, will be able to complete the season of the Grand Prix World Series. We are expected to finish around about January, February time, and that'll be before Doohan makes his Formula 1 debut in Melbourne next March. There's Callum through on Daniel Kildea, but Zach O'Sullivan has hit trouble in the 40, and on lap 5 his race is going to be coming to an end. The shame for Dave Goddard, the team manager of the squad. You can see 3 drivers going side by side into San Donato. O'Sullivan pulls off the track and out of everyone's way, and he is the first retirement of the Lead 2 Mugello Grand Prix. And it's a gearbox issue that's sidelined the Brit, who's impressed so far this season. And Sarah Moore isn't going any further either in the Surtees. She's been hit with reliability trouble all season, in all honesty. And another one has hit her here. Her teammate Jess Hawkins is just outside the top 15 at the moment, but Moore is out of the race along with O'Sullivan. I wonder what Jake Sanson, the team manager of the Surtees team, will be thinking at the present moment. Cassie is continuing on ahead of Hirakawa, Nijiri third, and we've seen a battle for 15th position between Nick de Vries and what looks like Max Gunter, who's got in front of Jess Hawkins, who was running in the top 15 earlier, no longer doing so. And further ahead, we've got Louis Foster under attack from Rutoma Miyata, who's going back through on Foster into turn number 1 of San Donato. And that is the Japanese through into 4th place. I don't think Foster had any answer to that at all, in all honesty. Louis Foster, one of many Brits in the field, as is Luke Browning, who's making a move on Alicia Palmovsky into San Donato. That's enough for him to go into 19th position. And another driver who is off the pace so far in this round is Kimi Antonelli, who was second in the Drivers' Championship going into the Dijon-Bourgogne round, now third in the championship, behind Callum Ilott. Ilott running in the points at the moment. Alex Palou is in 12th place, making his way through the field a little bit more now. As they come through the chicane. It's known as Biondetti. There's Hawkins on the inside of Nick de Vries. She got by Max Gunter on the previous, or earlier on in the lap. And now she fancies a go on the Andretti. Further on ahead, we've got Rutoma Miyata going for it on Tomoki Nijiri. Around the outside before the small kink that isn't classed as a corner. Oh, he's through, no problem. O'Ward has got through on Louis Foster for 5th place. Lots of changes in position as we speak. Antonelli going through on Palmovsky into P20 for the Italian, racing in his home round. Antonelli, who seems to be bound to be a Mercedes Formula 1 driver in the near future, and if that is the case, then he won't be eligible once he makes his debut in March 2025. We're looking at Sam Bird, who has not had the best of races so far. He's down in 24th and last place now. Back at the front, Hirakawa is only 2 seconds off Nick Cassidy, who is continuing on his way, and we're still seeing drivers swapping positions in this battle for 4th. The 2 Premers of Nigerian Foster and the Dams of Pato Ward. Foster through into 5th place in his 3rd Grand Prix Series race. Fourth in Montjuic Park, 5th at Dijon-Bourgogne. There we see Nick de Vries under attack from Max Gunter. There we see Pato Ward trying to make a move at Casanova on Louis Foster. He's able to make the move stick. Is Louis Foster suffering some form of issue? Doesn't look like it. But we are coming towards the end of lap number 8. Not too far away from pit stops as we speak. Just see that O'Ward is still trying to pass Louis Foster. He's clearly been held up. We see Max Gunter running in 16th position behind the Andretti of Nick de Vries. Going towards Bacchini before the lap is out. And now we're looking at the Carlin of Rio Hirakawa having another good race so far. He retired in the early stages with suspension failure at Dijon-Bourgogne last time out. And he's done so, it couldn't quite go for it on de Vries, and Jess Hawkins had to slam on the brakes a little bit to avoid running into the Real. Nick Cassidy in the lead right now, 2.5 seconds clear over Hirakawa. The gap is gradually increasing. We've got Antonelli, who's behind the Tolman of Paul Aron. And Aron's teammate, Dennis Hauger, is running in 13th position. This has been Tolman's best race so far. Certainly, I would say, since the opening round in Hokara Pagua. And Miata has hit trouble, and the Japanese is out of the race again. Now, what has forced Miata off the racetrack this time? It's an electrical problem. And Jake Dennis is off as well. He's hit engine trouble and his car is on fire. So 2 more drivers out of the race. We're on lap number 10. We're approaching the end of lap 10. So 1 Andretti and 1 Dome is out. As far as Ritomo Miata's season is concerned, that's 4 non-finishes in the last 5 for him now. We've just had the upgrade window where team managers have had budget to put on either power or reliability. And it seems to be that all of the budget that the Dome team manager of the Dome team, David Yuntz, has put all his budget on power, which is not great to see. Well, from his perspective, probably is a good thing, but you can see the amount of reliability problems he's had over the course of the season. It's not helped him one bit. Cassidy has started lap 11. We've got Tomic Inajiri under threat from Pato Ward. It looks like O'Ward is going to go for it, but it doesn't seem to be like the Dams has got the straight line speed it needs. He's using the slipstream to pull alongside into San Donato, and that is the Prima remaining in front of the Dams. And Callum Ilott, through all of the shenanigans with Jake Dennis and Ritomo Miata, is up into 5th place now. The race winner at Montjuic Park. He's got with it all to do here. But there is Nick Cassidy. looking at the real, actually, of Max Gunter running in 15th. The top 3 teams in League 2 will go up to League 1 for Season 5. And the bottom 3 teams in League 1 will go down to League 2. It's very close, actually, in both the promotion side of things and the relegation battles. It's certainly going to go down to the last round at Surfers Paradise. We see a move from Max Gunter on Nick de Vries. He's able to do that at the hairpin of Corin Tau. It's a phenomenal overtake from Gunter to get through there. Louis Foster running in P7 now. He's just been overtaken by Danny Unkandea. And Foster beginning to struggle a little bit. But there's Nick Cassidy, who's over 3 seconds clear of Hirakawa, who's over 10 seconds clear of third place driver Tomiki Najiri. And we see de Vries trying to catch Gunter. I wonder if de Vries may be on the one-stop strategy, but he's already over half a minute off the race lead. Here's Najiri, who's holding up O'Ward and Ilott and that. Here's Louis Foster. He's got a cushion of over 2 seconds on Stoff Van Dorn. He's had a respectable race so far, as is Robin Fiennes. Robin Fiennes finishing on the podium last time out. His best result of the season so far for Sax Speed, who are beginning to make inroads on those challenging for promotion. But I can say that Dennis Hauger is just outside the points in P11. He's going to be under attack from the Grand Prix Series debutant Jack Doohan. And now we are seeing a change for position between Yonkadea and Foster. I don't think Foster was able to get through Yonkadea this time round. And now we're looking at Abby Pullen. We've not spoken too much about this season. She's bound to clinch the F1 Academy Championship for 2024. It's not somewhere her future lies. But she does have a promising career ahead of her, whether it be as a racing driver or serving as some form of representative within a Formula 1 team like Alpine, for instance. Here's Foster. Still going at it with Yonkadea and losing time behind him. I don't think they're far away from pit stops run. Lap 14, Nick Cassidy's just started. Hirakawa in second place. Najiri going through on Pato Ward for third place. Here's Cassidy, determined to get a strong result out of this. Carrying all Dome's hopes now, and Tony Miata retiring with electrical problems. Amazingly, he's 18 seconds clear of Tomiki Najiri. I don't know for certain if Cassidy's doing a two-stop, but I can say that Abby Pullins pulled off a brilliant overtake on Luke Browning, albeit that looked a bit too good there to get an overtake done, and I think Luke Browning may have hit mechanical trouble. We'll find out more if that is the case. I don't know for certain how much time you need for a pit stop round here. I'll definitely say it's going to be at least 30 seconds. I think that's what Cassidy's trying to build up, and it's working so far. Jiri ahead of O'Ward still. So we've got a Prima and a Dams in two separate battles between each other. And we've got a car in the pits now, which is Jess Hawkins, who was running in the top 15, I believe, before she came in. Paul Aron is in as well. At least they'll both get clear track when they come back out. And I'll definitely say that definitely need over 30 seconds. And Ilot makes a move on Tomoki Najiri. I think O'Ward's got through on Najiri. Has Najiri picked up an issue? Or is it just the fact that O'Ward got by him and Ilot was able to get within striking distance and pull alongside him to go past? Browning overtaken by Abby Pullin now. Oh, that's Matteo Caroli, my apologies. Yeah, you can just see he's struggling. And Palmoski's got through. And so has Sam Bird. If I was Luke Browning, I'd probably come into the pits at the end of this lap to get the problem sorted out, because that does not look very good. Does not look like a car competing. Nick Cassidy, race leader, is in. Rhea Hirakawa, likewise. Pato Award in, which allows Kylan Ilott to take over the race lead for now. Dennis Hauger making his way in for Tolman. Promising race so far. Kimi Antonelli, the home hero, comes in for his first of two stops, likewise for Abby Pullin. Second place now. There's Youngadea on the inside. Does Foster know that he's there? He is aware that he's there. He goes through. Well, he stays ahead of the Dams, I should say. And there's Ilott in the Carlin. Been very, very good so far. Don't know for certain whether he'll be on the one-shot strategy. We'll find out if there's more drivers coming at the end of this lap. You can say that Ilot's in. And there's Nick DeFries locking up Biondetti. Youngadea also in for Dams, which releases Nick Cassidy and Rhea Hirakawa, who will be on the tail of Stoffel Van Dorn in a moment. I can tell you that Ilott has not rejoined the track yet. Now he does so, but he's behind Pato Award. So we see Nick Cassidy behind Stoffel Van Dorn in the battle for third place on circuit. Hannibal and Najiri in the lead. So Prima 1 and 2 on track. Dennis Hauger trying to make his way through on the Real of Max Gunter, but Gunter's just got out ahead of him. And Foster chasing after Tomoki Najiri. Will either of them be in the pits at the end of this lap? Well, Cassidy's got through on Van Dorn now. I imagine that Rhea Hirakawa will be making his way through on the Zach speed at the same time. Here he goes, look. That move was coming all along. Well, one of the Primas is in. I think it was Foster that went in. And Dennis Hauger going through on Max Gunter for 16th. Ilott on the inside of, what looks like Sam Bird for position. It's important for Ilott to get in front of Louis Foster. As Paul Aron locks up at the chicane. There's Gunter fighting back on the Tolman of Hauger. He's on the inside, does the Real, and he is through. No problem. You see Ryo Hirakawa in third place, chasing after Cassidy for the race win. And Mats Gunter, in his second Grand Prix Series race, is going to be retiring with Mechanical Gremlins. And he's out of everyone's way, so he should be pulling off the circuit now. That's the fifth driver to retire from the race. Disappointment for team manager Ed Hunter after both of his cars finished inside the points at Dijon-Bourgogne. Gunter was 9th and Bird 10th. And Gunter is off the circuit now, out of everyone's way, and his race is done. And we're continuing to see changes for position. Juncker going through on Sam Bird for 13th. Gearbox issues for Gunter. And Nick Cassidy's on fire! He's also got smoke pillowing out of the back of the dome! And Dome's race is finished before half race distance! This cannot keep happening for them! It's costing them big time! Cassidy, the race leader, net race leader, is out of the race in Mugello. And the jury remains in the lead, but Hirakawa will be on his tail now. And he should be able to go through. Water leak issues have sidelined the dome of Nick Cassidy. And Van Dorn goes back into third place in the Sax Speed, with Robin Friends in fourth. Both having good races so far. Alex Palais, who's yet to stop in this race, it looks like he's going to be doing the one-stop. But we've seen Hirakawa take the lead from Tomoki Najiri before San Donato. Can he keep hold of it between now and the end of the race? 25 laps to go. Tomoki Najiri in second place. Looks like he's going to be doing the one-stop. There's Van Dorn with a respectable time of it in lead 2 for the Sax Speed team under the eyes of Mike Smith. And we see Abby Pullen trying to go to the outside of Kimi Antonelli, but very ambitious to do it there. Kimi Antonelli once again off the pace. Downhill towards Casanova and Savelli. And it's the two Arrabbiatas who'll be navigating his way through. And going past Matteo Caroli for 11th place. There's Jess Hawkins, the only Surtees left in the race. Sarah Moore retiring after 4 laps. Jack Doohan in the Ram, going in a strong 6th position. We see Nick DeFries, and we also see Louis Foster. Very determined strong results here. De Vries who won in Hikawa Pagua. Season opener. Are we going to see a new Grand Prix World Series winner today? Ryo Hirakawa yet to win. Tomoki Najiri is also yet to win, both of which are rookies this season. Stoff Van Dorn won in the past for Simtek. Robin Fines likewise. Well, I say likewise, he won for Super Aguri. Unless I'm mistaken with that, because I'm not sure Robin Fines actually won the Super Aguri in Season 2, despite actually finishing runner-up. We've got Najiri and Van Dorn in the pits for their first stops of the race, their only stops, at the end of lap 21. Alex Blow is also heading in, which releases Frines, Doohan, O'Ward and Ilott. You see Foster round the outside here of Nick De Vries. And that's him through into 6th position. That was a neat overtake from the Brit. And Sunbird in, as is Matteo Caroli. There's Jack Doohan in 3rd place. 20 seconds off the lead, but he's doing a terrific job so far. He's got all the track he needs right now. Track position's crucial around here. And doing it so... He's most certainly making the most of it. There's Palmowski. He's had a decent showing so far in the Coloni, running in 17th behind Abby Pullin. Behind Palmowski is Luke Browning. There is the Zach speed of Robin Frines heading over the lines in P2, 15 seconds off the lead of Ryo Hirakawa. Zach speed have yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series. They've been around for over 2 seasons. They've yet to take to the top step. Been on the podium before with Lucas de Grassi and Sam Bird and Robin Frines last time out at Dijon-Bourgogne. We've got De Vries in the pits for Andretti. Not been a good race so far for the Andretti team in the eyes of Linus O'Hell, Grand Prix World Series' newest manager this season. And there's a problem for the Zach speed of Robin Frines. It's come to a slowdown, and it's a terrible shame for the team. On lap 23, Robin Frines' race is over. Jack Doohan goes through, Pato Ward goes through, as does Callum Ilott, and Frines' teammate, oh no, it's not Frines' teammate, Louis Foster goes through, Daniel Kandea goes through, and it'll be Tomoki Najiri and Stoff Van Dorn, who have only just been in the pits. Frines' 2nd place is down the drain, and he's gone from the lead to Mugello Grand Prix. And it's gearbox issue that is the cause. And Jack Doohan, who was in 2nd for a brief moment, and someone has got smoke pulling out the back of their car, is Danny Nkandea. He's had an unlucky time of it in the Grand Prix World Series, in all honesty. And he's going to be out of this one after running another decent race. And he's the 8th driver to retire. It's only lap 24 and we've got 8 drivers out of this race. At least no one has caused any collisions so far. They've all been mechanical failures. And Jess Hawkins goes up to P7 now in the Surtees. She's made an early first stop, so she'll be in the pits again before this race is over, but it's still a decent sign. And Sam Bird, would you believe, out of the race. That's both of the Reals out now. Ed Hunter will be having his head in his hands after a really class showing at Burgoyne. And Sam Bird is the 9th driver to retire. Only 17 drivers are left in the race, with 20 laps to go. Matteo Caroli running in P17, but at least he's still in the race. Pato Award now up to 2nd position, ahead of Colin Milot and Louis Foster. Tommy Kinijiri in 5th. 2 Premiers in the top 5, having another good race so far. Alex Palou, the championship leader, is in 8th position, but at least it's better than where he was at the beginning of this one. And guess what? Both the Tolmans of Dennis Hauger and Paul Aron are both in the points. And Tolman have only picked up 1 point so far this season. That came with Bruno Senna at Hikara Pagua. And under the eyes of Michael Gillespie, they've had little to celebrate this season so far. But today could be a day where they pick up some really, really useful points. The only team in the Grand Prix Series yet to score so far this season are LaRousse. I'll be pulling 13th in this one. So Caroli in 17th and last place. There's O'Ward in 2nd position now, behind Ria Hirakawa, who has a lead of over 26 seconds. He's due in the pits again before this race is over, is Hirakawa, but if he keeps going at the rate he's doing, he'll probably rejoin in the lead by the time he comes back out. Fraser's only just pitted. He's behind Luke Browning. Alicia Pomoski, who's still in the race, remarkably. And there's an engine problem for someone behind. That's Jack Doohan in the ramp. What a shame. After a promising showing in this one, following the news that he'll be an Alpine Formula 1 driver in 2025. But as far as the Grand Prix World Series is concerned, he's retiring from his debut race. And that might give some form of concern to team manager Ross McGregor and for Alex Palou, who's running in 8th. But Doohan's race is over, and that's casualty number 10 of this Lead 2 Mugello Grand Prix. And here's Hirakawa, hoping that reliability issues don't hinder him or Carlin. Both cars are in the top 4 now. And looking at the championship, if it was to remain as it is, we'll begin with the team's championship because that's more interesting as far as how things could change. Hirakawa, who is on course for the win, and Kalmailot is on course for a 4th place finish. That'll be 37 points. And with Ram only on course to get 4 championship points, there'll be 1 point behind Ram in the race for the team's championship in League 2. And Prima Racing came into this 3rd in the championship, with Foster in 3rd and Najiri in 5th. That will net them 27 championship points, or 25 I should say. That will move them on to 104, and they'll bridge further away from Andretti, Coloni, Forti and Doe. As far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, Alex Palou is still on course to score points. He'll move on to 87. If Callum Milot was to finish 4th today, he'll go on to 61. And Rio Hirakawa, who's on course to win this race, will go on to 63. And he'll be the driver moving up into 2nd place in the championship. He'll be 24 behind Alex Palou. In fact, Hirakawa is in the pits now for his 2nd stop of the race. Will he get out before Pato Award? We'll wait and see. I don't think he built up enough of a cushion to maintain the lead, did Ryo Hirakawa. And in fact, O-Ward is in. So Hirakawa should retain and keep hold of the lead as we watch Luke Browning about to be overtaken by Nick de Vries in their own battle at the back of the pack here. These two, as well as Matteo Caroli. He just saw the parts cars there. It's almost like a Mugello car sale happening around this circuit located in the area of Tuscany. It's close to the city of Florence is this circuit actually as well, which is rather nice. Ward rejoined in 11th place after his latest stop. He's got a lot of overtaking today though. Behind Ward is Alicia Polmowski, who's determined to score points on her debut. Teammate Kimi Antonelli is running in 10th place. Louis Foster only 2 seconds behind Ryo Hirakawa. I think Ryo Hirakawa may try and go for a fastest lap here and take it away from Nick Cassidy and Dome. We'll wait and see. There we see Abby Pullin in a battle with Polmowski for 12th place. Louis Foster comes in for his second stop. That moves Kalamila up to second place. It's now a Carlin 1-2. And there's an entry problem. Alex Below is going to be joining Jack Doohan on the sidelines. And Rand's race is all over here. I want to go to Below because he is no longer going to be competing in this race. Polmowski goes through on him at San Donato. Looking at the Carlin, but we want to go to the Ram because that's an important picture to look. And Alex Below's race is over and he's on the side. So no points for Ram today. Alex Below's second retirement of the season has curtailed the team, and it allows Dennis Hauger and Paul Aron to go up into 6th and 7th. Hawkins up to 5th now in the Surtees, but I think she's due to stop again before this race is over, and Kimi Antonelli is holding up the likes of Patrick Ward, Louis Foster, Alicia Polmowski and Abby Pullin. And Ward gets overtaken here by Louis Foster, and Foster is through into 9th position on track. But what will that mean for the grand scheme of things later on? Hirakawa's lead is over 5 seconds on Ilop. No one is lapped. And the 15 drivers you can see on the timing screen are the only runners left. And you just see, oh, and Foster had to slam on the brakes there to avoid running into the Colonia head. That was Kimi Antonelli who was coming into the pits. And that came very close to being an enormous accident. Oh dear, yeah. Well, to be fair, Antonelli was committed to coming in, and Louis Foster just didn't quite notice, but we'll see from Foster's perspective. And he's coming in there, and Antonelli, yeah, Foster had to slam on the brakes. I don't think any action will be taken on that. It's one of those. And is Polmowski going through on Foster? No, she's not, because she's just been overtaken by Abby Pullin for a moment. In fact, Pullin's got through on Foster as well at the same time. Abby Pullin up to 8th position in the LaRousse. We've got Paul Aron and Luke Browning in the pits at the same time here, so they'll be coming back out rather shortly. Now on lap 30, Hirakawa continuing to extend the margin. don't think he was able to set a new fastest lap, so I think Cassidy's fastest lap is very much safe. Unless anyone decides to go for a fastest lap in the closing laps of this. As Palmowski gets through here on the inside of Foster. Has she done it? She's still there. As they come towards Corintau. She's still on the inside of Foster, but I think Foster's able to hold on for now. Ilott in from second. Callum Ilott coming in. Now I'd probably say he's going to rejoin round about where Dennis Hauger is. Although he'll actually be behind him because he was 6 seconds behind Hirakawa. And he's probably going to be around about where O'Ward and Pullin are. Hawkins comes in. As does Dennis Hauger. In fact, Ilott has got out in front of Patrick O'Ward. Ilott rejoins in 4th position behind Stoff Van Dorn. Palmowski's in the pits for Coloni. Will we get another twist before this race is over? We saw it at Dijon-Bourgogne where Nick Cassidy retired on the last lap. Vito Mieta was also in the lead before retiring. But there is Najiri in 2nd place. Kramer looking good for another strong result here. Kalamoa has been joined ahead of Pato Ward, looking good for a 4th place finish. He'll do well to catch up to Stoff Van Dorn, who I think is doing the one stop. Ilott's 14 seconds behind. He'll have 13 laps to go, so he needs to take at least a second out of Van Dorn's margin if he's to have any chance of getting on the podium, unless we get any more retirements up front. So through the latest pit stops, it's Hirakawa who leads, Najiri 2nd, Van Dorn 3rd, and it's Ilott in 4th place, O'Ward 5th, it's Foster. De Vries is 7th, Matteo Corelli 8th, on course for LaRussa's best result of the season and their first points of the campaign. Jess Hawkins is 9th after her final stop, and Paul Aron in the Tolman on course for his first Grand Prix World Series point. Hirakawa's lead over Najiri is over 16 seconds. We're looking at Abby Pullen, who's behind Kimi Antonelli, 4th position. Not able to get through yet. Ilott's getting their hammer down here. It was 13 seconds on Van Dorn in sector 1. Was he able to get the gap down here by sector 2? There is that white line he'll be going over now. And the gap is around about 12.7 seconds, I would say. Sector 2. Still got the last sector to get through, so we'll see how he gets on there. Van Dorn's just concentrating on his own driving. Kimi Antonelli get overtaken by Abby Pullen, go at the inside, and Pullen makes her way through. That was very, very risky, but it paid off. Pullen up the inside, slammed on the brakes to make sure she made the corner, and she's through at last on Antonelli. And Abby Pullen is through, no problem. Now, having a look at Antonelli's perspective of what actually happened there, I think he left the door open. I think Pullen just about left him enough space. I mean, that's hard racing for you. The gap between Van Dorn and Ilott is just come down under 12 seconds. So Ilott's taken 2 seconds out of Van Dorn's margin on the last lap alone. He knows he's in a quicker car to where Van Dorn is in, but he still needs to get the job done when it matters. Gap in sector 1 is less than... what is it now? It's just under 11.4 seconds. And Anthony's got back through on Pullen into 12th. Pullen is beginning to struggle here. And she's got Alicia Palmowski and Luke Browning for company. Hirakawa. 18 seconds in front of Najiri now. Any mechanical trouble will stop him from taking victory today. We've got the League 1 race to come up later, so do not go anywhere. Hirakawa looking good, as is Van Dorn for a podium. Zach Speed's second in a row. The gap between Van Dorn and Eilot is less than 10.2 seconds. And with the rate that Eilot's going at catching Van Dorn, he's going to be ahead of him before this race is over. Van Dorn's gradually dropping further away from the jury, but he's not too fussed about that right now. Jury, second place. Good for another strong result. He would have been 3 podiums in a row in Dijon-Bourgogne before retiring in the closing stages. And now we see Louis Foster going for it on Pato Ward, and it's a clean overtake from the Brit. And his spirited race goes from strength to strength, and he's doing to 5th position. Najiri in second. Heading over the line. There's Alicia Pomorski going through on Abby Pullin, and that's for 13th position in the Coloni. Pomorski and Pullin are angling for points here, given the number of cars have dropped out, but they're running out of time. And Pomorski, running a bit too deep into Corintau. And she was able to continue on her way. That could have been costly for her, though. It doesn't look like Cologne are going to be coming away with any points again today. They were really poor at Dijon-Bourgogne, and they've been really poor here. And Abby Pullen's still going for it with Pomorski. This is going to go on until the end of the race, isn't it? Even though it's not for points. And the gap between Van Dorn and Eilot, we'll get an updated gap once Eilot goes through sector 2 in a moment. The gap is now 7.2 seconds. There's a chance that Eilot will get through on Van Dorn within the next 4 laps, you know. The sole surviving sack speed of Stoffel Van Dorn in 3rd position. Probably still going for it on Pomorski for 13th. Eilot. It's been touch and distance, and then we're going back to this battle again between Pomorski and Pullin for 13th. Pullin alongside here. Is she going to be able to make the move stick into San Donato? Pomorski was able to brake later than the LaRousse to remain in the place. And looking at the jury, got between Van Dorn and Eilot. Just waiting for the gaps to update. I think it's less than 6 seconds now, just under that. Eilot really is getting the hammer down here. If he passes Van Dorn, he might have a chance of going after Najiri before this race is over. But once he gets onto the rear of Van Dorn, he needs to dispose of him straight away. He will most certainly not do anything about Ryo Hirakawa. Started second on the grid, inherited the lead after Cassidy retired, but it's not done and dusted just yet. And Abin going through, or trying to go through on Pomorski again. Not able to do so. There's Hirakawa. But Antonelli going through the last turn of the Cheen. The gap between Van Dorn and Eilot has come down to less than 5.2. There is Najiri. Of course, for 3 podiums in the last 4 races. As it stands, he'll be going up to 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. We're seeing an overtake from Dennis Hauger on Paul Aron. And that looked a bit too easy by Hauger's standards. And I think Aron has hit trouble here. It's a terrible shame for Aron, who has driven a brilliant race up until then. But it looks like he's going to be in the pits. There is Abby pulling on the inside of Pomorsky, and she's through into 13th. Nice overtake there from Abby Pullen. Pomorsky had no answer to that. The gap between Van Dorn and Eilot has come down to just under 4.4 seconds. And there's 7 laps remaining. And Browning locking up. And running wide, but he's able to continue. Antonelli locking up further ahead. Drivers pushing a little bit too hard in the closing stages here. There are a few lockups here and there. And we're still seeing Pomorsky refusing to give up. Aron's in the pits with a problem. Don't think he'll... Oh, that's Hirakawa! He's crashed out! I do not believe it! Hirakawa has crashed out! And it's a loose wheel, that's the cause! Yeah, he's pulled to the side. Yeah, he's crashed into the wall. The loose wheel on the right rear is the cause. And Hirakawa is out of the Mugello Grand Prix in Lead 2. That's a shock. And he couldn't get that car back to the pits. And that hands the lead over to Tomoki Najiri in the Prema, who have not won in the Grand Prix World Series yet. He's got 5 seconds in hand over Van Dorn, but Callum Eilot is catching Van Dorn at the same time. Hirakawa retires from the lead of a Grand Prix World Series race again. And that's going to be a dagger to the heart for team manager Perry Brown. They can still get victory though if Eilot can get through on Van Dorn sooner rather than later. And we're watching Luke Brown in, running wide a little bit but keeping his car on the circuit. So we've got 14 left in the race. Caroli goes up to P7, Hawkins 8th, Haugen 9th, and Kimi Antonelli moves up into the points for Coloni. And Eilot has got the gap down to 3.3 seconds. Is that? I think it's 3.1 actually. He's close though. He'll be going through sector 2 shortly. But Najiri is on course for his first Grand Prix World Series win. As it stands, he'll move up to 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. He'll go on to 63 points, and with Palou not scoring, that will be down to 20 points in the title race. Although Eilot, by finishing 3rd, would net 15 points and move on from 49 to 64, so in fact he'll be 2nd, ahead of Najiri. And with Kimi Antonelli not again scoring big, he's slipping further and further away from the title battle. And there we see Caroli locking up. He's got Jess Hawkins right behind. And I think we'll probably see an overtake in a moment, because Caroli has been struggling on this lap. And Hawkins pulls into the slipstream. Alongside, is this enough for her to go through here? Caroli holds on for now. And behind Hawkins is Dennis Hauger, on course for his first points of the season. There's Van Dorn, there's Eilot. And we're looking at Pato Ward, who's in 5th place in the dams. Hoping to keep the team's form going here, with Yokadea already out. I'll be pulling just outside the points in 11th. Ideally want to pass Antonelli unless one more driver drops out ahead. The gap between Van Dorn and Eilot is less than 2.1 seconds. And they've got 4 laps to go at the end of this one. Don't think Eilot's going to have enough time to catch Nigiri, but he'll give it his best shot. The gap now is less than 1.9. De Vries, who's running in 6th place in the Andretti. It's up a little bit, and Hawkins is now through on Caroli into P7. There's another 6 championship points coming in the way for her and for Surtees. Hawkins has had a brilliant season so far. Caroli will just want to bring home the team's first points of the campaign. P3 going after Van Dorn. Set to 1, he got the gap down to 1.6. With a lot of corners around the second sector of the lap, I'd expect that to come down to around about 1.1 or 1.2. It's probably more than that. It's now 1.4 seconds between Van Dorn and Eilot in sector 2. So he was only able to get the gap down by a couple of tenths in the second sector alone. Paul Aron is getting the hammer down on his first set of tyres. Going after Luke Browning. He's got just under 14 seconds to make up on him. As we see Alicia Pomoski going a little bit too far out wide. That's at the Scarparia corner. The gap is still 1.4 between Van Dorn and Eilot. Further ahead we see pulling on the tail of Kimi Antonelli for the last point. And there he's pulling into the slipstream here. She pulls out alongside. And is she through here? Ahead of Antonelli. Antonelli outbrakes her into San Donato. Pulling will have to try somewhere else to get the overtake completed. Van Dorn and Eilot now 1.2 seconds separating them. And Chewy's only got 2 more laps to go at the end of this. They want to go to the battle for second place because Eilot has got the gap down to 1.1. And we see Abby pulling on the inside of Kim Menton, and she's done it! Abby pulling up to 10th place. Is she on course for her first Grand Prix World Series point? It looks to be coming her way. And it looks to be 2 LaRousse cars in the points for the first time this campaign. And it looks like Colonia are going to be leaving Mugello without any points at all here. 1 second is the margin between Van Dorn and Eilot. Is Eilot getting the gap down enough here? We'll have one more go of it into San Donato next time around. And now we're looking at Dennis Hauger all over the back of Matteo Caroli. Determined to increase Tolman's points tally for the campaign. Hauger round the outside into San Donato, but Caroli is able to hold on for now. gap is 7/10 between Van Dorn and Eilert. I mean, forget the gap now. Eilert's all over the back of the Belgian. Is the margin, but is Eilert into the slipstream to attack on the pit straight? Tommy Kinijiri is starting the final lap now. You see Hauger on the inside of Caroli, and I think this is going to be a change for position. But Alicia Pomorski's first race in the Grand Prix Series is going to see her retire before the checkered flag. She'll be classified as a finisher, and it's a sterling effort by her standards. It'll be Toby Sowry back in the car next time out at the Nürburgring. But it's a great effort from Alicia. She'll be very, very happy with how she's done today. Here's Tommy Kinijiri hoping to not suffer the same fate as what Nick Cassidy had done at Dijon-Bourgogne in the last round. Gap between Van Dorn and Eilert is just under half a second. And Eilert is running out of opportunities to get the overtake done. What a race for Tommy Kinijiri. Picked up the lead after Hirakawa and Cassidy retired. Made the strategy work. And Prema in their 7th Grand Prix World Series race are going to taste victory for the first time. One more corner to go for Tommy Kinijiri. And the Japanese about to take his first Grand Prix World Series win in style around this beautiful Mugello circuit. Tommy Kinijiri blasts his way down the pit straight to win the Lead 2 Mugello Grand Prix. Prema's first win, and it's team manager Alex Johnson's first win as a Grand Prix World Series team manager. Stoffel Van Dorn holds off Callum Eilert to the end to take second place. Another podium for Zach Speed. Louis Foster 4th for Prema, rounding off a brilliant day for the team. Pastor Award bringing home some important points for Dams in 5th. Nick de Vries in 6th place for Andretti, with Jess Hawkins another superlative drive to P7. And it's Caroli and Howard go side by side on the pit straight. Caroli holds on by less than a tenth over Dennis Hauger. LaRousse finally get their first points of the season with both cars inside the top 10. And Hauger bagging a couple of points for Tom in their first points since the opening round in Brazil. Anthony Brannan and Aaron the rest to finish. It's victory for Tommy Kinijiri for the first time in the Grand Prix Series, and it's also Prema's first here in Mugello on home turf. Stoff Van Dorn second, Callum Eilert third, with Louis Foster in fourth, bringing 2 Premas in the top 4. Pato Award 5th, Nick de Vries 6th, Jess Hawkins in a fine 7th, had a Matteo Corelli in 8th at his home round, Dennis Hauger 9th, and Abby Pullin, her first point in the Grand Prix Series, in 10th. Kimi Antonelli was 11th, followed by Luke Browning, with Paul Aron the last to take the checkered flag. Alicia Pomorski was classified as a finisher in 14th, so close to scoring points as well. Ryo Hirakawa retiring from the lead, Alex Palou also out, Jack Deering likewise, neither Ram scoring. Danny Nkadea, Sam Bird, Robin Frines, Nick Cassidy, Max Gunter, Jake Dennis, Ritomo Miata, Sako Sullivan, and Sarah Moore were the rest to not finish. Nick Cassidy got the points for both pole position and fastest lap. But again, a race win goes begging for the Dome team, who just cannot seem to stop the reliability being such an issue for them during the course of the campaign. After all that, what a win for Tommy Kinijiri and for Prema. They are firmly in the chase for promotion, maybe even the team's championship when you look at the grand scheme of things. Ram have had a day to forget. No points. It's the first time this season they have not scored at all, although if you were to count Montjuic Park, they didn't score there either. So that's 2 races in the last 3 that they have not scored points. And Carlin, well, they felt that they should have come away with more, but Prema are very much in the chase for promotion and the team's championship. It's time to run down on the championship standings in League 2 in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
Well, what a race and what a result for the home team. Prema Racing takes its first Grand Prix World Series victory on home turf at the hands of Tomoki Najiri for his first race win of the season and of his career. Huge congratulations to Alex Johnston's team. But what has this race done to the driver's standings? Well, Alex Palou, not scoring today, but still leads the way in the championship on 83 points. Callum Ilott up to second on 64, 1 point ahead of today's race winner Tomoki Najiri. Kimi Antonelli had a race to forget today and he drops down to fourth on the standings. Matt Campbell on 38, along with Stoffel Van Dorn and Rio Hirakawa. Van Dorn really putting together a fine season in the Zach Speed at the moment with his podium today. Nick de Vries 8th in the Andretti on 35, 1 ahead of Louis Foster on 34, and Luke Browning rounding out the top 10 on 32 points. And in the team standings, Prema Racing's results today has really helped them in the points as they now sit 5 points behind Ram Racing and are starting to challenge for the League 2 title now. Carlin's still there just behind on 102 in third. Andretti are fourth on 84 points ahead of Zach Speed on 65, Coloni on 55, Dome on 51, 40 Corti on 49, Downs on 38 and Surtees on 20 rounding out the top 10. Then Riel in 11th, while LaRousse finally picks up some points this season and moves ahead of Tolman, who also scored points today. LaRousse on 5 and Tolman on 3. Hopefully not the last time they'll score points this season, but we will see what happens in the remaining races. But for now, we move on to League 1 and let's take a look at how the driver standings are heading into this one. Sebastian Buemi leading the championship on 61 points, 3 ahead of Joseph Newgarden and a further 1 ahead of Felix Rosenqvist is getting very close in League 1 so far this season. Mahavira Kunnathan 4th on 43 points ahead of Scott McLaughlin, Raffaele Marcello, Jean-Eric Verne, Earl Bamber, Kamui Kobayashi and Scott Dixon, the reigning champion, rounding out the top 10 in the driver standings. And in the teams, Prost came away from their home Grand Prix with the championship lead, 97 points, 5 ahead of Leighton House on 92. Arrows are on 85, ahead of Syntec on 59, that top 3 forming a bit of a breakaway group at the moment. BAR 5th on 51 points, 1 ahead of Force India on 50. HRT are on 48, ahead of Minardi, Mana and Pacific Grand Prix on 21. Currently in the relegation zone, Mastercard Lola, Onyx Grand Prix and Fond Metal, but not too far behind the likes of Pacific and Mana at the moment. That relegation battle not over by any stretch of the imagination. And before we bring you the grid for the League 1 race, just one driver change to inform you of, and that comes at the Onyx team. Liam Lawson had been banned from the last round of Dijon-Bourgogne and replaced for that race by Dries Van Tor, but now he has been dropped completely, and in his place will be Kevin Estre for his Grand Prix World Series debut. Ryan Ferris taking a bit of a bold gamble with his drivers there to bring in someone completely new and see how he gets on. Estre, a very experienced hand in the world of motorsports, so maybe an upgrade on Lawson. We'll wait to see how he gets on. And before we get this race underway, let's take you through the grid. And it is Earl Bamber in the Leighton House who's on pole, less than 0.2 of a second ahead of Nicholas Latifi and Mahavirag Kunnathan, the 2 BARs, in the top 3 there. Joseph Newgarden, our only 2-time race winner so far this season, he will start from 4th in the second Leighton House. Oliver Roden 5th in the Arrows ahead of Scott Dixon, our reigning champion. And Kevin Estre on debut will start from 7th in the Onyx as easily their best qualifying position of the season so far. Jean-Eric Verne will join his fellow Frenchman on row 4 in the Prost ahead of Felipe Nasr and Sebastian Buemi. Nasr putting his Fomitel into the top 10, a brilliant result for him and for Ewan Gale's team. Scott McLaughlin will start from 11th ahead of Gabriele Milli in the Minardi, who will start his home Grand Prix today. Oliver Behrman 13th in the Syntec ahead of Felix Rosenqvist, a really disappointing qualifying for him given where he is in the championship at the moment. He is joined by his fellow Swede Marcus Ericsson in the second Fomitel ahead of Kamui Kobayashi, Mitch Evans, Alexander Sims, Shane van Gisbergen and Roman Grosjean rounding out the top 20 there. And propping up the field, 21st will be Antonio Fix da Costa along with his Force India teammates Raffaele Marcello, and then Pietro Fittipaldi, Mick Schumacher, Brendan Harley and Jules Gounon, who will start from last today. Well, we had a fantastic encounter in the League 2 Mugello Grand Prix. How will the League 1 Mugello Grand Prix go? There's only one way to find out, and let's get straight to it. Tom Cairns, Ready when you are.
Bumba, who has failed to finish in the last 3 rounds, needs to get his season back on track. With 2 BARs right behind him, anything can happen around this Mugello course. The 5 lights are coming on now. When they extinguish, we're racing for one last time today. The lights are on. Lights are off, and we are go here in Mugello in League 1. Bumba getting away nicely ahead of the 2 BARs of Nicholas Latifi and Mahavir Gunnathan. And Kevin Estra coming through in the Onyx, up to 4th place already. A sensational start by him, as he is now about to be overtaken actually by Joseph Newgarden, but Estra is able to fend him off coming out of Sant'Anato. So Bumba leads. Mahavir Gunnathan is up to 2nd place ahead of Nicholas Latifi in 3rd. Kevin Estra is 4th, and it's Joseph Newgarden, Oliver Rowland, Scott Dixon, Scott McLaughlin, Ollie Behrman and Felipe Nasser inside the top 10. And we look at Jean-Luc Verne, who is without his rear wing. He's been hit from behind by someone. I don't know who it is that's run into him, but I think it'll go down as a racing incident. And we're not getting a replay of what actually happened, but I think because all the cars were so closely together, I don't expect any action to be taken. But Bumba is able to get off to a brilliant start so far, as we are looking at Joseph Newgarden behind Kevin Estra on his Grand Prix World Series debut. He started 7th on the grid. He's up to 4th place. Is the man from France. But Jean-Luc Verne will be in the pits at the end of this lap for a new rear wing. I don't know if anyone else has picked up damage. It's unlikely that's the case. But we've got Mahavir Gunnathan all over the back of Bumba now, and he fancies a go into Sant'Anato. It's a long pit straight this. It's demonstrated so far for what we saw in lead 2. But Mahavir Gunnathan takes the lead, cuts across on Bumba to get the move done. And that is the Indian through into the lead. The man who had won in Zolder earlier in the campaign is determined to go for win number 2. And Bumba is having to just settle in behind. BAR have not had a good reliability record so far this season, which perhaps explains their pace. Nicholas Latifi running in P3, with Joseph Newgarden in 4th, so it's BAR, Leighton House, BAR, Leighton House in the top 4 places. And Scott Dixon, who's failed to finish in 5 of the 6 races so far this season. He's running in P7 for Minardi, and Romain Grosjean, after a sterling drive in Dijon-Bourgogne, is going to be out after only just 1 lap here in Mugello, and that's a disappointing sign there for team manager Marcus Johansson of the Mastercard Lola squad. And that is the Frenchman gone from the race. You can see bits of carbon fibre ripping off it, and that's a puncture by the looks of it, because the left front is lifting off the ground. And that's good news for the relegation rivals of Pacific, Onyx, Fonmetal and Manor. And we're looking at Nicholas Latifi, who's just been overtaken by Joseph Newgarden for 3rd place. Kevin Estra in 5th now in the Onyx. They've not had too much to celebrate this season, have Ryan Ferris' team, but they're doing so well here. And we're looking at Pietro Fittipaldi in the Pacific, who's just ahead of Alexander Sims in the HRT. And ahead of Fittipaldi is Gabriele Mini, who's competing on the home turf here, as we watch Sims go through on Fittipaldi into the Casanova corner. And at the moment we are seeing overtakes happen, and there's Kevin Estra on the inside and Nicholas Latifi here into the Corintau corner, but to no avail. But Estra will be back for more in the near future. Sebastian Buemi, the championship leader, is running in 12th place behind Felipe Nasser, who's been overtaken by his Fonmetal teammate Marcus Ericsson, the reigning League 2 Drivers' Champion. And Mahavir Gunnathan continuing to post fastest laps. It's unlikely that anyone's going to beat that now. given the blistering pace of that BAR. And looking at Scott Dixon going through on Scott McLaughlin for P7. I don't know if McLaughlin got by him earlier on, but Dixon is in 7th place now, behind Oliver Rowland. Joseph Newgarden, 2-time race winner this season at Indianapolis and Dijon-Bourgogne, running in P3 behind his teammate Earl Bamber. Latifi and Estra nose to tail. This is some showing from Estra so far. His teammate Shulgunon is outside the top 15. Just the one retirement so far of Roman Grosjean. Jean-Luc Verne came into the pits at the end of lap 1 for a new rear wing. We don't know for certain who ran into Verne at the start. I think that if it was going to go down as a racing incident anyway, with all the field bunching up behind. But there we see Maverick Gunnoff is under threat from Earl Bamber this time, as Mick Schumacher is running in 23rd position, just ahead of Shulgunon. And Verne is running about 28 seconds off the lead, as Ragunathan maintains the race lead ahead of Bamber. And Newgarden is in 3rd position, ahead of Latifi. And Newgarden is able to hold on. Estra is just ahead of Rowland. Rowland on the inside, and Estra is able to hold off Rowland for now, with Dixon giving chase, as is Behrman, as is McLaughlin, as is Ericsson. And Rafael Marcello on home turf is going to be pulling out of the race early on here in the Force India. Podium finisher at Dijon-Bourgogne, non-finisher today. It's disappointing there for Force India, who are looking good, in good form at the moment. With the podium he picks up in Dijon-Bourgogne, I think it's a suspension problem. And Fittipaldi's also out of the race in the Pacific. I don't know what is the cause on that, but that looks more like a suspension failure for Fittipaldi. We'll see what is the actual cause of it. It's a puncher for Fittipaldi. So that's 3 drivers out of the race now: Grosjean, Marcello and Fittipaldi. You can just see Verne going round, going past those two. He's going to have a lonely race, is the Frenchman. And Prost haven't been on the pace as we've seen them in previous rounds, but given the nature of this course already, with how much of a car break it has been already. And we've just seen a replay of Earl Bamber taking the lead from Matt Viragunathan at San Donato. And that is him through on lap number 6, ahead of the Indian. But I doubt that that will be the last of the battle in between those two in this League 1 Mugello Grand Prix. Next behind Ragunathan is Joseph Newgarden, as we watch Shane van Gisbergen in the manner overtaking the Mark Hewitt Grand Prix winner, Felix Rosenqvist. Ahead of van Gisbergen is the sole surviving Pacific of Brendan Hartley. And Ragunathan has got back into the lead again. We don't know where he's done that. He's probably done it into the Casanova corner. And it just goes back to what I was saying. It was far from being the last of those two battling on circuit. And it could well go right all the way to the checkered flag. I would imagine the pit stops will have a say on that. I can say that Kevin Estra has got through on Nicholas Latifi, and he's through into 4th place. But one driver who's not going to be finishing today, it's Gabriele Mini for the 3rd race in a row. He is not going to be finishing. 3 races in the Grand Prix Series, 3 retirements for the young Italian. And Mini pulls to the side. He's got to hope Dixon doesn't suffer the same fate. Minardi have been struggling with reliability this season. And it looks like Ollie Rowland has struggled on this lap, and I think it's come to a slowdown. How's the Arrows driver? We need to go to him, and there he is at San Donato. Bad news for team manager Topher Smith. Oliver Rowland out of the race as he pulls off at the beginning of lap 7, and that's another driver gone from the event. And it's gearbox issues. They've sidelined the Brit. And I wonder how many finishes we're going to get in this one. We're right on board with Alexander Sims in the HRT. Behind the two... Well, he's behind Felipe Nasr, and what almost looked like a fond missile is actually a manner of Mitch Evans, but Sims goes for it on Nasr into the right-hander. What looks like the Scar-Perea corner. He's due into 12th place. Nice overtake there from Sims. His teammate Scott McLaughlin is running in P7 now. Sebastian Buemi's moved up into the points for Prost. But there is Regunathan. Behind him is Earl Bamber. And now we see Scott Dixon in the Minardi, the only Minardi left in the race now. Had to lift off the throttle to avoid running into Nicholas Latifi. But there we see a move from Marcus Ericsson on Ollie Berman for 8th place. With the way things are going in this race, Joseph Newgarden will take the lead of the championship from Sebastian Buemi. And Matafia Regunathan will go up into 2nd place. And Latifi under attack from Dixon again. And Kevin Estra, who's on course for 12 championship points with the way things are going for Onyx so far. That'll give them an enormous boost. They'll go in front of Mana Pacific and MasterCard Lola. As for Fon Mattel, they will be moving off the bottom. And MasterCard Lola will be replacing them. And there is Felix Rosenfest retiring from the race with engine problems. And Arrows' dismal couple of races have continued to sideline the team. No points for Topher Smith's team. A really, really disappointing sign after a 1-2 finish a couple of rounds ago at Mark Hewitt Park. But it's going to be no points here for them. There is a couple of battles happening. McLaughlin had to lift off the throttle again. Behind Latifi has just been overtaken by Scott Dixon for 5th place. And here we're going to in P1 as we watch Joseph Newgarden trying to catch his Leighton House teammate Earl Bamber. As far as the top of the team's championship is concerned, Leighton House will be back into the lead. Arrows won't be scoring, so they're not going to be moving up. And BAR running in 5th in the team's championship. We're going to fin in the lead, and Latifi and Sig will just be behind Arrows in 4th. And Sims has got through on Nazar again, by the looks of things, although Nazar got through on Evans as well. I think we were looking at McLaughlin, who got through on Nicholas Latifi for 6th place. It's the 2 Leighton House cars in 2nd and 3rd. Marcus Ericsson in P8 as Mick Schumacher runs wide and goes for a spin. And MasterCard Lola's race goes from bad to worse. And it's at the Biondetti chicane here. Yeah, it's poor error there by Mick. We want to get the car pointing the right way again. And reversing back onto the circuit. Needs to watch out for Jean-Eric Verne. He'll be coming through in a moment. And there is Verne in the background. At least he'll have someone to battle on circuit with for now. It's Brendan Hartley in 16th, just ahead of Shane van Gisbergen. And that's the leader, Matthew Raghunathan. Can he take his second Grand Prix World Series win? Mugello, host of round 7, and it's off to the Nürburgring for round 8 at the Nürburgring. And it'll be where the mid-season test is being held up before we head to what I believe is Istanbul. And it's Pärnu in Estonia, Anderstorp, Sweden, Zhuhai, China, Ortopolis, Japan, Sipung in South Korea, Sepang, Malaysia, and the 16th and final championship round will be at Surfers Paradise, Australia. There's also a non-championship race at Macau, involving the top 13 highest scoring teams across the two leagues to be involved in. And there's Sims going through on Buemi for position, but Buemi is able to resist. Bamba in P2. No, Sims not able to get through on Buemi. Behind Sims is Felipe Nasser and Mitch Evans. Shane van Gisbergen is pulling out of the race what looks like a Mikoko ball, and there's a car off as well. It looks like the Onyx of Shulgunon, who had to take evasive action, and the wheels come off his car, and his race is also finished. Now the replay is not going back far enough to see whether Van Gisbergen should have pulled off sooner, but it looks more like Shulgunon's call, in all honesty. He's out of the race as well as Van Gisbergen. Those two are gone from this. Mick Schumacher and John Verne will go through. There is Mick. And there is Jev. Kevin Estre running in 4th place for Onyx. It's down to him to bring home the goods for Ryan Ferris's team. I think Fonmetal are the only team who've got 2 cars still in the race out of those in the bottom 5 in the team's championship. Moscow Lola have lost 1, Pacific have lost 1, Onyx have lost 1, and Mana have lost 1. So we've lost both Arrows drivers. We've also lost Shane van Gisbergen, we've lost Shulgunon, we've lost Gabriele Mini, Roman Grosjean, Pietro Fittipaldi. I'm sure we've lost one more driver from the race as well, which was Rafael Marcello. Here is Elbamba in P2. Behind Maviu Raghunathan, the gap is 4 seconds. As we see Sims attempting to get past Sebastian Buemi. Buemi, who won the season opener in Hikawa Pagua, has locked up, runs wide, and that allows Sims through by the looks of it. Yeah, Sims goes past Buemi, and that was a costly error by the Swiss. Yeah, just caught the curve, just locked up, and Sims didn't need a second invitation. Garden in P3. Not able to do anything about the top 2 right now. But there is Ericsson. Berman's already through on Latifi. Ericsson trying to send Latifi further down the order. And I wonder if Latifi is on a heavier fuel load, which is what he tried to do in Dijon-Bourgogne before he retired. What a drive from Matthew Raghunathan so far in the BAR, which has been a superior machine in terms of the engine power that's in that. doing a fine job, and he's on probably approaching the first of his 2 stops. You can see Olbamba and Joseph Newgarden continuing to hold on. Brendan Hartley in 16th. 8 drivers out of the race. Van Gisbergen, Gounon, Rosenqvist, Rowland, Mini, Fittipaldi, Marcello and Grosjean. Jean-Luc Vernon's only a couple of seconds behind Mick Schumacher. So we may go to that battle in a moment. Here is Marcus Ericsson trying to go through on Nicholas Latifi. Won't do it there. So he's having to tuck back in. Now we see Estra, who's got Dixon for company. Dixon up the inside. Estra able to fend him off. And there is Olbamba in P2. Hasn't finished in the last 3 rounds. He was the championship leader going into those 3 rounds, but has hit a dip in form. Second in Argentina, 3rd at Indianapolis. It's Joseph Newgarden in P3. And Gunnathan has come in from the race lead at the end of lap 14. His first of 2 stops. Who else is going to be coming in? It feels to me like he's one of the early stoppers, and I think he's going to get out in some clean areas. Matavira Gunnathan by the looks of it. Here we are with Olbamba, who's in the lead now. Gunnathan rejoined in 11th position behind Felipe Nasr. On the fresher tyres, he should be able to go through on Nasr quite easily. Here is Ericsson on Latifi again. And he's through without a problem. And Gunnathan has got through on Nasr at that same bend. There is the Leighton House. Comes into the pits. Joseph Newgarden from 2nd place. Olbamba remains out there. Scott Dixon deciding that he's going to be making a stop, as does Scott McLaughlin. Sebastian Buemi has moved up the order, but Gunnathan has other ideas. Gunnathan is ahead of Newgarden, so that you know. Newgarden rejoins in 12th place behind Antonio Felix da Costa. Brendan Hartley in for Pacific. And there we see Mick Schumacher holding up Jean-Luc Vergne. Hartley will be coming out of the pits in a moment. There is Schumacher, there is Vergne. Ollie Berman up to P3 in the Simtech. It looks like Latifi got back through on Ericsson again. These two continuing to scrap it out. And right on board with Mitch Evans. very scrappy race at Dijon-Bourgogne. Needed to pit in twice for a new front wing. Still able to finish. Bumba comes into the pits from the lead. What does Kevin Estra decide to do? Does he come in as well? He does come in, which gives Ollie Berman the chance to take the lead. There's Latifi. Will be under threat for Marcus Ericsson into San Donato. Not far behind those two will be Murphy Ragunathan. And Bamba rejoined ahead of Newgarden. You see Newgarden attempting to get through on Antonio Felix da Costa, but couldn't quite do it there. And there's Ericsson going through on Latifi. And he's through into second place on the track. If I was Latifi, I would let Ragunathan go on the pit straight. We'll see Bumper getting through on Kobayashi for 8th place on circuit. This driver ahead is Mitch Evans. Ragunathan get through on Latifi and Ericsson on the straight. Well, he doesn't need to actually, because both of them have come into the pits. Berman is in, Ericsson is in, and Latifi has let Ragunathan go. Remy goes through as well. It looks like he's going to be doing the one stop. Felipe Nasser is looking to do the same. So BAR 1 and 2. Ragunathan is on the 2 stop, while Latifi is on the 1. Although Ragunathan, I think, has hit trouble in his machine, and he's just allowed Latifi to go back through. What has happened to Murphy Ragunathan here? He's able to get that car back to the pit lane. Well, we've cut away to Scott McLaughlin, but we want to go back to Murphy Ragunathan because his car does not look like it's handling as well as it should be. Now, is he able to get back to the pit lane? Because if he is able to do so, that's his race ruined. And chances of victory are dashed, and there's the problem for Murphy Ragunathan. Going right through the last corner. Now, can he get that car back to the pits? Don't think he's able to do so. No, he's pulling off. And Murphy Ragunathan retires from the League One Mugello Grand Prix. Another victory gone for him. And let's see if he goes back into the lead with Boemi now second. Of those are the 2 stoppers, El Bamba will be into the lead once they come in for their stops. Kobayashi pits in and he's out behind Brendan Hartley in 15th. Now we've got a battle for 3rd place here between Felipe Nasser and El Bamba. Nasser holding Bamba up. So that Newgarden is also behind Mitch Evans for position as well. And there is Mitch Evans under attack from Newgarden. Behind Newgarden is the Minardi of Scott Dixon. And Kevin Estra, after his stop, is stuck behind Antonio Felix da Costa. And now we've got El Bamba all over the back of Sebastian Buemi as Newgarden goes through on Evans for position. And Dixon looks like he's going to make mincemeat of Mitch Evans to go past. That's him through into 6th place. Evans down to 7th. Astra still stuck behind Antonio Felix da Costa. Marcus Ericsson is also stuck behind Alexander Sims. Elbamba now behind Bawemi. Nicholas Latifi, who has not won in the Grand Prix World Series before, has the chance to do just that. He retired from the race when Raghunathan won at Solder. All roles reverse here. And there's a yellow flag out. And Newgarden's crashed out! Newgarden has crashed out at the Corintau corner. Way too deep. Hits the gravel so heavily. The wheels come off. And Joseph Newgarden is out of the League One Mugello Grand Prix. A body blow to team manager Chris Cavaney. That was a costly error by Newgarden's standards. He will not be taking back-to-back wins. And that makes Elbamba's race even easier now. Now he's got by Sebastian Bawemi. We're on lap 21, approaching half race distance, and there are now only 16 cars left in the race. Elbamba in P2, Scott McLaughlin a little bit too deep there into the second corner of the circuit, which is Luco. With Raghunathan out and Newgarden out and Rosenqvist out, it's falling into place for Sebastian Bawemi here, because with the way things are going, he'll still be in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. If Elbamba was to win the race though, he'll go up to 2nd place in the championship, although he's got the pole position point. He'll go, I think, would he go ahead of his teammate Joseph Newgarden? He would. He'd go on to 60 points. And so Bamba would only be 1 point off the championship lead unless Bawemi can finish in the points here, which he's about to do. And right now, Bawemi's in 3rd place, looking good for a podium. He's making the one-stop work here so far. And if he was to pit in now, it would fall behind Alexander Sims. Although, that was very close actually to being an accident involving Kevin Estre and Antonio Felix da Costa. Don't think any action will be taken on that. Yes, the moment da Costa came in, had to slow down, and McLaughlin just swooped past Estre. Da Costa is in and will fall out of the top 10. Right on board with Elbamba, running in 2nd place, going after Nicholas Latifi. Verne comes in for his first scheduled stop. It'll be his last stop before this race is over. He's going to have to hope for a lot of cars to drop out ahead of him if he is to salvage anything from this race. Here's Latifi coming round. Is this going to be him heading for the pits? The answer to that question is yes. At exactly half race distance, which hands the lead over to Elbamba. And Latifi, by the looks of things, could fall out of the top 10, theoretically. Unless we see more drivers heading for the pits, I can say that Felipe Nasr is still yet to stop. I think Mitch Evans is the same. Yeah, Mitch Evans is also in. And Latifi rejoins in 10th place, ahead of Kamui Kobayashi. With him on the fresher tyres, I'd say Latifi might have a chance of going for a fast lap. He needs to have the track position in order to do that. Buemi now second, still yet to stop. I think he's still yet to stop with Buemi. And Nasr is the same as well. And once those two come in, it'll be Scott Dixon going up into second place in this race. But he's due in the pits again before this race is over. Berman pushing hard behind Kevin Estre, who's in 6th place now. P7. Marcus Ericsson is 8th. Of course, for another good result here, there is Elbama crossing over the line. Buemi comes in at the end of lap 23, as is Felipe Nasr. Both have gone far enough on their stints. Where will they filter back out? Well, they were behind Latifi when they came in. I'd say Latifi will get out in front of Kobayashi and Nasr will be behind Kobayashi. In fact, no, Buemi's behind the Simtek, as is Nasr. And there's an engine problem up ahead of Latifi, and it's Alexander Sims in the HRT. And it's a shame for Sims. Only scored points once this season. It hasn't got any better. It's been on a really poor run of form, actually, as the Brit. Latifi goes through, and it's the end of the day's work for Alexander Sims. I just want to make sure he parks that up in a safe location. Unless he's able to get that car back to the pits. We'll wait and see. But no, he's slowing down. Now, does he pull it off safely here? Kobayashi should go through. Yeah, Buemi goes past. As does Felipe Nasr and Brendan Hartley. And Sims retires from the race. And so we are down to 15. Nicholas Latifi, he's on the fresher tyres, might try and go for a fastest lap. Gunnathan holds the point. Gap between Bamber and Dixon is over 8 seconds. Scott McLaughlin, twice a podium finisher already this season. Feeling good for podium number 3. Estre 4th on debut. What a cracking race he has had. Ollie Berman 5th, Marcus Ericsson 6th, Nicholas Latifi is 7th. There's Kamui Kobayashi, Sebastian Buemi and Felipe Nasr running out the top 10. We've still got 20 laps to go. Still got a second round of pit stops to come. There's Berman on the inside of Estre. Has he been able to do it? I think he's done it here. And Estre still keeps his foot in there, but I think Berman has the job done, and he has done. Estre has to yield. Berman goes up into 4th place. That was probably one of the overtakes of the season so far, has to be said. Now we see Scott McLaughlin in the HRT. Can HRT continue their form? A strong result here, HRT with 48 points coming into this round. If they just get a podium with a 3rd place finish, They'll move in front of Force India. And maybe in front of BAR. They go up to 5th as it stands. As far as the bottom is concerned, with Von Mattel getting 9 points, with Ericsson 6th and Nasser in 10th. They'll move on to 26 points. Onyx would get 10 points with Kevin Esther in 5th. They'll move on to 27. Mascot Lola not scoring as we speak, so they'll remain on 18. Pacific not scoring as it stands. They'll remain on 21. And Mana not on course to score either. They'll remain on 26. So it's all to play for. Teams in the bottom 3 at the end of this round, as it stands, will be... it will be, to my maths, it's going to be Mana, Pacific, and Mascot Lola. Onyx and Von Mattel will leapfrog out of it. Boemi has got through on Kamui Kobayashi for 8th position on the fresher tyres. We didn't see the overtake, but we know the result of it. There he is, look. Kobayashi's dropping back. Don't know if he's encountered a problem as the Japanese driver. I don't think he has. He's now got Felipe Nasser, who will also be on fresher tyres. Now, can Boemi go after Latifi, who will be chasing after Marcus Ericsson. It won't be too long before El Bamba is in the pits again. Likewise with Scott Dixon, Scott McLaughlin, Ollie Behrman, I think, as well. Kevin Estra. And Bamba is in for his final stop from the lead. The crew will go to work. And Dixon is also in the pits, which will allow Scott McLaughlin to take over ahead of the pack. Berman will go up into 2nd place. Estra will be 3rd. And Bamba rejoins behind Latifi, but ahead of Boemi. Ericsson is also in the pits. Kobayashi pits in from P11. It's been a race to forget for him, really, compared to how his teammate has been. And there is your top 3. I think we'll be in the pits again before the race is over. So it's going to be a fight between Latifi and Bamba for the win, but Bamba will be on the fresher tyres to his rival. Now Boemi, who finished 2nd the last time out at Dijon-Bourgogne. Potentially, he's looking good for a podium. Kevin Estra in the Onyx. So McLaughlin goes into the pits. And Ollie Behrman goes into the lead again. Kevin Estra now up to 2nd. And we see El Bambo tossing it with Nicholas Latifi towards San Donato, has to lift off. So there's no way through. I think it's a matter of time before Bamba gets through on the Canadian. But there we see Behrman and Estra. Behrman on the inside, Bamba on the inside of Latifi. Into the left-hander, turn 4, otherwise known as Materazzi. Brendan Harley in the pits for Pacific. He should rejoin ahead of Verne and Schumacher. There's Behrman over a second clear of Estra. Latifi and Bamba still tossing it out. Bamba on the inside of Latifi. Has he made the move stick? I think he has. Latifi will try and hang it out, but the job is done for Earl Bamba. He is through into the net race lead. Will Latifi have any form of answer to that? Very unlikely. Behrman comes into the pits, as does Kevin Estra. And so Bamba will go back into the lead ahead of Nicholas Latifi. Buemi will go up to third, Nasser will be fourth, and Scott Dixon will be fifth. There is Scott McLaughlin coming back through on the inside of Mitch Evans into Bacchini. And Behrman rejoins in 6th place, Estra 7th, although Scott McLaughlin is coming down the pit straight. He's ahead of Estra, but Estra has got in front of Evans, and Ericsson overtaking Antonio Felix da Costa just before Santinato. Buemi up to 3rd place. One of the one-stoppers. Dixon's just a couple of positions back. He's on the 2. He'll be on fresher tyres. Can Dixon make it to the end of the race, though, given Minardi's reliability woes this season? Same with Nicholas Latifi, to be fair. Earl Bamba in P1. Nicholas Latifi 2nd. On course for a good result, but just needs to watch his car between now and the end. And there's Felipe Nasr running wide, and that should give Scott Dixon a chance to be within range to attack. I think Dixon should have the straight line speed here. He'll pull out alongside. Here he comes. And Dixon should go through here. Unless Nasr is able to hold it out. But no, Dixon is past Felipe Nasr. And that is the Kiwi through up to 4th place. There's Buemi in P3. As Marcus Ericsson makes his way through on Mitch Evans for 9th position. Evans down to 10th. Only 1 point coming his way as it stands. Nicholas Latifi continuing to drop back from Earl Bamba now. Unless anything happens to Earl Bamba, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to overhaul him. It'll be his first win in the Grand Prix World Series. And out of 14 races, we're going to have 13 different winners. I can't remember the record off the top of my head, but it looks like we're heading towards that particular milestone for Season 4. Wide open, as it should be. And there we see Jean-Luc Verne, who's encountered trouble in the past, and he has had a rather lonely race. He's going to retire from 14th position on lap 31. And he's not going to be making it to the end of this. And it's a suspension failure. They're sidelined the Frenchman. And Latifi just cannot do anything about Earl Bamba right now. "14 drivers left in the race, no one carrying penalties or disqualifications. In fact, it's been a rather clean race, or clean round, across the 2 races of League 1 and League 2. Look at Kevin Estra in 8th position behind Scott McLaughlin. 4 points coming in the way as it stands, but he's got McLaughlin, Behrman, Nasr, and possibly Buemi and Latifi to get through if he is to salvage anything more. You never know with retirement, so if he can just keep going, maybe able to pick up something later. Earl Bamba in the lead. Latifi in second. Crossing over the line. The gap, 3.9 seconds. Buemi, his gap over Dixon is 1.2 seconds. There is Buemi and there is Dixon. Prost's hold on the podium place is under threat here. And the gap has come down to a second, but it looks less than that with the way these two are going about their business here. And they'll be coming towards sector 2 in a moment. Here is Latifi. And Dixon really needs to get a move on here, get through on Buemi to maximise the result. They've seen him drop back so much. He won in Argentina in round 2, but nothing's gone right for him since. El Bamba is 11 laps away from victory. Leightonhouse's second win in a row and their third of the campaign. And they'll be taking the lead of the team's championship the way things are going. If Buemi was to keep hold of third position, they'll go on to 112 points. Leightonhouse, by getting the win and pole position, they'll move on to 118. And Arrows will drop further back in the championship race. As far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, Buemi will move on to 76 points, and the driver move up to second place in the championship will be El Bamba by getting 26 championship points. He'll go on to 60, so the gap will be 16 points going into the round at Nürburgring. There's Nicholas Latifi crossing over the line, 5 seconds off El Bamba. Buemi and Dixon nose to tail, and Dixon is pulling alongside Buemi on the pit straight. Is he through before San Donato? Buemi is able to outbrake him into turn 1, and he's able to hold on for now. And Mitch Evans is holding the last point for Munna in 10th. And there's Dixon again going for it on Buemi and not able to make the move stick. Not far from this lot is Felipe Nasr, who's had a brilliant race today. As it stands, Fomitel will be coming away with 12 championship points. They go on to 29. Onyx, by only getting 4 with Kevin Estra, will move on to 21. They'll leapfrog Marscod, Lola and Pacific, but they'll fall behind Fomitel, so they'll remain in the bottom 3. The bottom 3 teams at the end of the season will be relegated to League 2. And look at the way the season's gone. I mean, with Menard in HRT scoring good points. Menard will go on to 49. HRT will move on to, as it stands, it'll be 54. Force India won't be scoring. And BAR looking good for a second place finish. And there is Mick Schumacher on his own in 14th place in the Marscod Lola. Been a day to forget for the team. We're hoping for better luck next time out at the Nürburgring. Dixon's still behind Buemi. We want to go to that battle. Here is Buemi. He's got Dixon right behind him. Is Dixon going to go through here into Casanova? The answer is no. In fact, Bohemian's breached out a gap of just over a second on Dixon. Bohemian doing a terrific job. There's Latifi in second place. Dropping further and further back from Bamber, but second place will still be a great result for the team. It's been a tricky campaign for them. I wonder what Will Knight will be thinking about, the team manager of the squad. Chris Cavaney, team manager of Leighton House, is looking all falling into place with Bamber on course for his first win in the Grand Prix Series. And Bohemi holding on ahead of Dixon. After a difficult qualifying and difficult beginning to the race. He's played his cards right very, very well. We're also seeing Nazar and Berman in 5th and 6th. There's still time for things to change in this race. El Bamber's failed to finish in the last 3 races. He'll be hoping that 4 in a row doesn't hit him here. It doesn't look like it's going to do. Scott McLaughlin running a little bit too deep into Casanova, and he's got Kevin Estra right behind him. Marcus Ericsson in a strong 9th with Mitch Evans good enough for a point. Although he's got Antonio Felix da Costa less than a couple of seconds back. Latifi again. Got 7 more laps at the end of this one. And Mitch Evans from 10th position is going to lose that championship point with mechanical trouble. And da Costa, who ran wide in avoiding. And you can just see Mitch Evans parking up behind Alexander Sims' car. And da Costa had a bit of a moment there. Just looking at Evans, he just ran into Sims' machine there that was already out, but I don't think any penalty is going to be imposed to him. Gearbox trouble is the issue, and so both of Sam Hall's cars are out of the race. We see Nicholas Latifi. And so Kamui Kobayashi is into the last point scoring position. We'll go to the battle between Bohemi and Dixon because that's still raging on, although Dixon has dropped back again. Going through Biondetti, and it's Pacini, the last corner before the pit straight. And there is the Canadian, still going. Six laps to go. Bamber still leads. The battle for 3rd place, the last podium, is still going between Bohemi and Dixon. But we're looking at Berman, who's going through on Felipe Nasr. Has he done enough? No, he hasn't. Has to back out of it. Go back to Latifi. 7.5 seconds off the race lead. He's still doing enough ahead of Bohemi and Dixon. So if he could just keep going at the rate he's doing, a 2nd place finish will be coming his way, and for the BAR team. Berman still going at it with Felipe Nasr. I imagine this battle is going to go on right to the very end here. Nasr won't want to risk too much here. Now we see Behrman go for it on Nasser again. He tried to do what he did earlier on. I think it was with Kevin Estre. He got through on him earlier at that corner. But he can't quite do it with Felipe Nasser this time around. So we've got 2 cars battling for 3rd place, 2 cars battling for 5th, and 2 cars battling for 7th. And now we see Dixon pulling alongside Boemi. He should be able to do it this time. Side by side they go, but Boemi somehow is able to fend him off. And Kevin Estre pulls alongside Scott McLaughlin to Santanato. He goes through into 7th place. Boemi locks up into Loco. Ahead of Dixon, who tries to go for it. Still cannot do it. Boemi fends him off once more. And that's going to carry on right to the checkered flag, you'd have thought. So the BAR team will be getting ready as Behrman finally gets through on Felipe Nasser for 5th place. Nasser has to settle in behind, but needs to watch for Kevin Estre, who'll be closing in. Now we are on board with Brendan Hartley. He's running in 12th place. Pacific are not going to be coming with any points. Or coming away with any points, I should say. Hartley doing all he can. The only car behind him is Mick Schumacher. Everyone else are all out of the race. Everyone else is out of the race. Boemi still ahead of Dixon. And now we watch Kevin Estre, who's behind Nasser. He tried to make a move on him at Santanato, but didn't quite come off in the end. Now he'll have to settle back in behind and wait for another opportunity. Bumba is just over 15 kilometres away from a magnificent victory. He's first in the Grand Prix Series, Lanehouse's 3rd win of the season. They have the most wins out of anyone in the Grand Prix Series. They have the most podiums. Or I would say they would have the most wins. They'll end up moving ahead of Minardi should Bamber take victory. And now we look at Boemi, who's still got Dixon for company as they come towards Santanato again. No way through just yet. And Kevin Estre is right behind Nasser again, but he's had to back out of it, and Scott McLaughlin had to avoid hitting the Onyx. Now Ericsson isn't too far behind to close in. There is the Leighton House. He's only got 2 more tours. And then they'll be celebrating victory, and it'll be 2 wins in a row for Leighton House. It'll be the first time they've celebrated consecutive wins since the days of Will Power and Helio Castroneves. In fact, Castroneves, in his first 2 appearances in the Grand Prix Series for Leighton House, he had won them. Tiffy, 2 more laps to endure. It's a 2nd place finish coming in the way of BAR. As we watch Mick Schumacher. Nazar is still in front of Estra and McLaughlin. And here's Bamber. Doing a fine job. Maintaining his composure, no mistakes all the way through. And Dixon's through on Buemi at last, for your information. Dixon through into third place, ahead of the Swiss driver. Buemi's resistance has finally been broken. And Scott Dixon in the Minardi going up into third place. As El Bumba starts the final lap in a moment. Buemi just needs to keep hold of fourth position now. And cuts down the gap in the championship. And now we see Buemi fighting back on Dixon. Is he alongside? Enough to go for it. He's not quite there. Here's the Swiss. This is going to go on to the checker flag for sure. Dixon now in P3, but Buemi is not giving up. Now, is Buemi going to go for it here? We've cut away from it. We go to El Bamba. A scintillating drive, a convincing drive, a mature performance from this talented rookie. And the man from New Zealand is about to join the long list of Grand Prix World Series race winners, including his teammate Joseph Newgarden. El Bamba exits the final corner of Bacchini up the pit straight, and we'll see the checker flag in sight. El Bamba for Leighton House wins the League One Mugello Grand Prix. It's a first time victory for El Bamba, and he becomes the 13th different winner this season. Nicholas Latifi comes home in second place for BAR, and we've got a drag race to the line between Dixon and Buemi. Can Buemi snatch it away from the Kiwi? I don't think he can. Dixon holds on to take a much needed podium for Minardi after what's been a difficult season. Berman 5th, ahead of Nazar, who just holds off Kevin Estra, who on debut bags home 6 championship points for Onyx. Scott McLaughlin 8th, Marcus Ericsson makes it 2 for Mattels in the points, and Kamui Kobayashi takes the last point in the Simtech. Antonio Felix da Costa, again not scoring, in 11th place, with Brendan Hartley in 12th. And the last driver to finish will be Mick Schumacher. It's a finish at least anyway for the team, but it's nothing like what we had in Dijon-Bourgogne last time out. So they'll be hoping for better luck at the Nürburgring. But it's a victory in Mugello for El Bamba and for Leighton House. It's 2 wins in a row for them. They now lead the team's championship. Nicholas Latifi second for BAR. Scott Dixon third. His second race finish of the season ahead of Sebastian Buemi. Ollie Berman 5th, ahead of Felipe Nasser in a strong 6th. Kevin Estra had a fantastic debut to 7th. Scott McLaughlin 8th. Marcus Ericsson 9th. And Kamui Kobayashi taking the final point in 10th position. Antonio Felix da Costa was 11th, ahead of Brendan Hartley. Mick Schumacher was the last driver to finish. Mitch Evans retired, as did Jean-Eric Verne. He had a lonely race in the Prost. Alexander Sims, Joseph Newgarden crashed out. How costly could that prove to be at the end of the season? Matvey Gunnarsson looked good for a win, but also retired. Shane van Gisbergen and Scholl Gunon, Felix Rosenqvist, Ollie Rowland, Gabriele Mini, Pietro Fittipaldi, Rafael Marciello, and Roman Grosjean were the rest to not finish. El Bamba took the point for pole position, and the fast lap point went to Matvey Gunnarsson. Sebastian Buemi still leads the Drivers' Championship, but El Bamba's victory and pole position moves him up to second place, ahead of his teammate Joseph Newgarden, and narrowly ahead also of Felix Rosenqvist. Scott Dixon's podium gives him hope in the championship race, And as the drivers head off to the Nürburgring, they'll be thinking how they will get on over there. It's time to run down on the championship standings in League One, courtesy of Topher Smith. And I'll speak to you for the next round at the Nürburgring.
Another race, another new winner in the Grand Prix World Series. Earl Bamber takes his maiden Grand Prix World Series victory. A huge congratulations to him. That is Leiterhouse's third win of the season, and they are looking like they're starting to become the favourites for the championship this season. Speaking of the championship, let's have a look at the standings before we say goodbye. And after that race, Sebastian Buemi still holds on to the lead of the Drivers' Championship on 73 points, while Earl Bamber has shot up to second with his victory today. He's on 60 points, 2 ahead of his teammate Joseph Newgarden on 58, and Felix Rosenquist a further 1 point behind them. Scott Dixon, his podium today has put him back into contention. He is on 46 points, 2 ahead of Mahavir Raghunathan on 44, a further 2 ahead of Scott McLaughlin, who is on 42 in the HRT. Raffaele Marcello, Jean-Eric Verne and Kamui Kobayashi still stay in the top 10 after today's race. And with their victory today, Leighton House has moved back into the lead of the team standings. 118 points for Chris Cavani's team. They are now ahead of the Prost team, led by Tom Cairns. They're on 109. Arrows in third on 85, having not picked up any points today, while BAR and Simtek are equal on 70 points each. Minardi and HRT equal on 52 points each, while Force India is on 50, Fonmetal on 27, lifting themselves out of the relegation zone for the time being, while Manor is down into 10th on 26. Onyx Grand Prix, 23 points for them ahead of Pacific on 21, and Mascar Lola on 18. Well, this has been a fantastic event to bring you today. Mugello has really delivered a classic in the Grand Prix World Series. We can't wait for the next race, which will be at the Nürburgring in Germany, at which point we will also have the mid-season test where the reserve drivers and the test drivers will be able to get out there on track and show what they're made of to the team managers. But until then, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.